the time the agreement was signed, the defendants had literally been kidnapped, and they had been held against their will.
Where day is never ever done.
I would have signed that, I stabbed babies over and over again and loved it. I would have done anything, basically, at that point.
I've never seen anything like this before. Never.
And you had no inkling that it was even possible?
No, I never conceived of that. I mean, I've been in Scientology since I was 14 years old. I was on staff since I was 17. At that point, it had been more than 25 years being there. I've never seen anything like that. It was inconceivable.
I have never met a more competent, a more intelligent, a more tolerant, a more compassionate being. We are lucky to have you, and thank you very much.
I witnessed Mr. MIscavige physically punching in the face and wrestling to the ground another very senior executive at Scientology International level.
I know it's wrong. It needs to get exposed, it needs to get confronted, and it needs to get handled. It can't go on.
While she says MIscavige never hit her, she did testify that he ordered his secretary to do so.
And she did it?
And she did it very hard, yes.
Hard enough that you fell down?
Yes.
Why did he ask her to do this?
He was displeased about how I was answering a question, wasn't what he wanted to hear in some way.
Did you feel like you could retaliate?
No, absolutely. You are definitely not able to retaliate.
When you turn it IAS, burning bright, from the plains of the Serengeti to the streets with no name, crossing invisible borders, truly making change.
Did you ever begin to receive, or were you ever the recipient of any violence?
Is one.
Like it or not, this is the world we're living in. You won't change who you think is going to do it then. Look no further than the mirror in front of you, my friend, and do what you know you gotta do. Cause this place ain't gonna fix itself. You gotta give it your heart and your soul if we're gonna rise up out of this mess. And yes, I'm addressing each and every one of y'all.
He was very angry, and he walked around a very long conference table to get to me. He was yelling, and he came up like as if he was going to choke me, but he didn't. He basically grabbed my shoulders and shook me while he was yelling at me.
We stood up, took a stand, to lend a hand to every man. But we are the IAS, and we do give a damn.
Top Scientology International executives that had been put there, and ants. The place was infested by ants, so ants would crawl on you.
And listen to what she says MIscavige told his assistant to do on another occasion.
He told her to grab my finger and to break it if I don't answer the questions. These two guys came through the window, and Mr. MIscavige asked me on the phone, "Are they there?" I said yes. He said goodbye. And then I was physically taken off with these two guys to the hole.
When you say slept there on the floor, did you have cots or bunks or some kind of beds?
No, you slept you were given a sleeping bag. You slept on the floor in a sleeping bag.
40-something-year-old woman with a very, very respected job.
Yes.